Within 5 days, the Mary River in Gympie climbed from 0 to 22.96 meters, making it the city's worst flood since 1893. Key points. The Mary River reached 22.96 m on Sunday, the highest since 1893. The Mary River reached 22.96 m on Sunday, the highest since 1893. The floodwater cut off the town, stranding hundreds of people outside Major Singh's service station. The floodwater cut off the town, stranding hundreds of people outside Major Singh's service station. He has given out about $10,000 in food and supplies to the travelers. When it peaked just before 4 a.m. on Sunday, leaving travelers cut off, Gympie shop owner Major Singh was there to help those in need. His Monkland service station became a safe harbor for about 300 travelers on the Bruce Highway, due to its access to critical services in a busy part of the town. As the waters rose, and with serious weather and flood warnings, many stores were either closing or had been cut off by the end of last week. Major Singh with emergency service crews. The Sikh shopkeeper moved from India 5 years ago and said as soon as he realized the drivers were stranded, he went about reassuring them. "I said, nothing is going to happen. I will be here the whole time," he said. They were so worried, but once I opened my door and said, "Look, I'm not going anywhere," they start appreciating here. They are all sleeping in the cars, some of them are staying in the motel, and some are sleeping on the crates. Most of them were travelers. They came from Bundaberg, Maryborough, Brisbane, Hervey Bay. It's not local, it's from all around. Major Singh says he would help again in an emergency. A major act of generosity. Mr. Singh manned his store from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m., working 16-hour days to ensure the stranded travelers were fed, watered and had any medicine his store could offer. "I'm giving them like bacon and egg rolls in the morning, with the coffee, and deep-fried food like a potato, scallops, crumb sausages, spring rolls, sandwiches and water," he said. "We're just trying to help and doing volunteer work for the community here." Mr. Singh estimates about $10,000 worth of supplies went to support others. "I'm not worried about money or anything. We'll help again if anything happens here. A thank you from the skies above." Mr. Singh's kindness was not lost on those he served. One of the most heartfelt thanks he received came by air, dropped to the shop from a passing helicopter. This thank you note was dropped to Major Singh by helicopter. It was gratitude from a family worried for their children, who were among the stranded. The note read, "Sent with much love and appreciation to you all for looking after our girl Tully. We are thinking of you all, and hope you can get home safely soon. Especially you, Major. Thank you." They were worried about their daughters, and I said, "Don't worry about it, I'm here," he said. "So I look after her girls. I just brought all the cars here for the girls at night time and turn on the lights of the store." Social media is abuzz from those he has helped, with some saying he ought to be named Australian of the Year. This aerial photo of Gympie under flood was taken on February 26. Others tell of how the combination of support from the nearby Great Eastern Motel and Mr. Singh's service station meant there was accommodation, food and water while stranded. Another praised how Mr. Singh and the team busted their asses to feed those who needed it. "What legends, that's the Aussie spirit." The shopkeeper said it was no problem. "I just love it, doing this type of thing," he said. "It's in our community, we do always like this type of work." Food donated to Aged Care Centre. A Gympie residential aged living community has received hundreds of dollars worth of food after power outages destroyed everything in its fridges. Phoebe Kennedy was relieved when the floodwater only reached the driveway of her aged care village. About 10 residents who rely on electrical medical aids were evacuated from the village, while the centre narrowly avoided inundation. Village managers Heather and Louise Rees-James said they had been overwhelmed by the generosity of the community, who had donated and checked on the centre. The threat was terrifying for 75-year-old Phoebe Kennedy, who feared the floodwaters would rise into the village. "I was overwhelmed. I've never been in this situation my whole life," Ms. Kennedy said.